So people hear the word conspiracy all the time these days. But you notice how the word conspiracy immediately triggers another word, and that word is theorist? Every single time you hear the word conspiracy, the very next word following that is theorist. This happens instantaneously, and that's because of CIA and government influence, as well as world elites. You know, conspiracy means when a group of people conspire against a group of people. Just plain and simple, that's what it is. So a group of world elites conspire against us, a group of entities that control law enforcement, agencies to be vague, a group of entities that are controlling military or a defense contractor, planning with bad morals or ethics or real vision to see that harming United States citizens is wrong, and or allowing your people that work for you to do this and not put them in prison the second you find out they're doing this is also wrong. So conspiracy occurred in criminal enterprise. You know, it occurred in mafia, mobs, in dirty politics and politicians. You know, like this happens in our early United States history. Conspiracy, the word conspiracy then shifts, the language of it shifts miraculously. And they don't call these people conspiring against public safety or conspiring against the health of the public anymore. They call them criminals, and different phrases of criminals, different ways to phrase it. And a lot of the time they just don't call it anything, right? Or don't acknowledge it at all. But this is always about money, power, and control, is what conspiracy always has to do with. Because it's not just a petty crime, it's next level crime. Like, this is highest level crime, the type of crime that the FBI should be fighting against, right? Well, in my opinion, that's what you'd think that they're fighting against, but it's a little bit different than that. They don't have the ability to just go off and chase things like you think they would. It's like they're literally being led to do something that's fucking United States citizens over, and that's not my just random speaking on this. That's based on the 3 whistleblowers that spoke in May of 2023 about this, which is earlier this year. So people are conspired against because of money, power, and control. So modern examples of this are the targeting program, what happened with COVID-19, the false flag in Iraq and Iran and Afghanistan. All of that entire war effort ended up being a lie. What happened with COVID-19 has been a lie. So far, what we've been being fed with this targeted program is a lie. So this is extremely important, this conspiracy and how our language has evolved to now we don't even think of groups of people that are conspiring against us, because socially we'll be attacked and called conspiracy theorists. So we can't even be people looking out for public safety, because we could be labeled as a conspiracy theorist. So the government, the CIA, and the world elites have changed our language through Mockingbird and various other programs to comprehend the word conspiracy as conspiracy theorists 9 out of 10 times. You hear the word conspiracy, your brain starts thinking conspiracy theorist, conspiracy theorist. That's what happens. That's because that's the format that we see this word. That's the only format we see this word. All people comprehend it like this for the most part. You're imagining the theory there. So what if you're scientifically positive? Then there's no more theory. You're scientifically positive. Well, it's still a conspiracy, ironically, if you're talking about something that's harming a group of people. No, that's not the right phrase. You're being a humanitarian. You're looking out for the public. You're saving the world. But no, they want to call these people conspiracy theorists. So they're silencing humanitarian scientists right before our eyes. And society will still say conspiracy theorists, even with proof of whatever topic at any given time. Or they could just have a Mockingbird campaign run against them in a social group or in a global level. And and think about this: if you tell somebody about the targeting program for whatever, and explain all of it, they're gonna be like, oh my god, you're a conspiracy theorist. But think about what's the psychology of them to come to that conclusion within seconds. That's a reaction, not a complete calculated calm thought. So that's their reaction, and that's because they probably feel threatened or in a state of fear. Isn't this shit terrifying? Fuck yes, it's terrifying. So just think about all that for a second. But it's real, though. This shit is real. This shit is 100% real. We've watched our language evolve, and now they're trying to silence us in like practically a genius way. What is in China? Do they have words for a lot of different things? No, they don't. And that, from my perspective, is how my brain at least relates this, how problematic this whole thing really is. And Chinese ancient language and this are different in many different ways because that was them just making a language at a time, and then it having different languages, different formats of it, like simplified and then the traditional, and then all the other variations. But this is more so like this existed in human vocabulary, and now it's been changed to, no, the only people that conspire against the public are really bad guys on the mob, the mafia. And once in a while we hear about a dirty politician, but God, it seems like it never happens, or when it does happen, it gets covered up for 5 years, and we're still waiting to impeach the guy. If Joe Biden's not the first dirty politician that comes to mind of late, but there's so many other ones that have been covered up for. So you know what I mean? So it's just ridiculous. So this is all about conspiracy and how it was originally one thing, has been evolved into one thing or another thing, and this language stuff is part of the reason why this program still exists, is because the same instructions they're able to give people, and then their brain digests it and takes that shit. Like we need to recognize and realize what this is. This is elite psyops right here, conspiracy theorists. This is not okay. Even though your friends, your family, everybody's gonna say that word because they don't understand this. But you need to understand and recognize that language is extremely, extremely important, and this entire thing is essentially because of things like this. This subtlety, recognizing exactly what it is, how it's evolved, how like true conspiracies were politicians and slave owners and people that were really out for the harm of large groups of people. Those are real people conspiring against us, and they still are here. These bastards don't show their faces or who they are anymore. These people behind the targeting program, COVID-19, the false flags in Iraq, Iran, all of this stuff, those are prime examples of real shit that's real, that is not conspiracy theories. All of those things are real things, that there's some seriously scientific details that would expose that, you know, our government was completely in the wrong in all three of these things. And that's like recent. So like this language stuff is so important, because now little kid could walk around having no idea about any of this, no idea what a nervous system is, but here's the word conspiracy theorist, and then it's like a wildfire in Hawaii that shouldn't have been caused but was caused and allowed to be done, even though we've got a satellite system that could put out a fire anywhere across the world if they wanted to, just from literally pushing the oxygen out of the way with radio waves. I promise that's possible. Can I have another Peace Prize for that, if nobody's thought of that yet? I promise it's possible. But the thing about it is, the moral of the story here is that we have to be careful with this language thing, because this is strategy. This is some serious strategy too. To waste your time explaining to people that might not have anything between their ears at all, or might have their mind made up in one way or the other for whatever reason, because they're scared. They don't want it to threaten the way that they understand or comprehend life. I'm a young person still. If I told a 60-year-old person all about this, a lot of people are just going to not accept it and be like, nope, fuck that. Don't want it. Don't need to hear about it. Fuck that. Unless you're affected by this personally, which a lot of people that find the channel are, or they know about it for whatever reason. We're not going to talk about the derps right now because it's the holidays. But right now, like really though, this is all so important. This labeling conspiracy theorists, giving examples of conspiracy theorists, using media platforms not to fight for what's right, to say, hey, this is happening. People are being harmed with radio frequencies in the United States. No, they're strategically saying, oh, these are some conspiracy theorists. They're imagining some things. Okay, sure thing. We're just imagining some things. And all these meters that every single person going through this ends up getting, that are reading off the charts, this beam of communication, you know what I mean? It's all a conspiracy, right? It's a conspiracy. It's actually the opposite of a conspiracy because I'm trying to help the public. Instead of trying to conspire against the public, and it's not a theory, I'm scientifically positive.